Yo, what's going on guys? My name is Revonlieke. Welcome back. Today I thought I would make kind of an on-the-spot recording about MHRise, mainly because Kaiji Hunter actually released a video that kinda prompted me to make a response video to it as well, because it's a very important topic for me, and I kinda agree with him on this to a certain extent. And here's the video itself that he posted, and he kind of stated in this video that he feels very alone when it comes to spoilers in video games in general. I think it's not just Monster Hunter related, of course, what he's talking about, but in general video games, and how content creators are handling spoilery aspects of video games. And this is a topic that can grow out of proportions, and I personally don't want that. I just want to have a healthy discussion about how to deal with this. Now, the general sense is that people don't want to be imposed to do something out of their way, and I don't think any normal consumer wants to impose content creators to change their way of doing things. But I do think that there could be other options, Now, the issue that we are talking about here is MHRise when the 2.0 demo came out, and people were very fast to jump on Twitter and post about a certain spoilery thing in the update. And this was actually something that I myself got spoiled on. Now, I'll come back to that a little bit later, but let's just kind of talk a little bit about how a normal consumer can avoid spoilers in general. So, a lot of people, what it boils down to is that you should go to media blackout and start filtering things that you don't want to see. If you feel like you don't want to get spoiled, of course, it's your obligation to avoid those. That's the key thing. And the normal consumer, what he has to do is avoid all content creators that post about the topic that they don't want to see about. Avoid words related to those things. For example, Monster Hunter Rise related, you need to filter those out on Twitter and maybe on Instagram as well. And there's a lot of things that you need to do. Blocking people is the fastest way and the easiest way to avoid things. If you are following content creators, just block those people and it's fine. I don't think any content creator is going against that grain, like, why are you blocking me? Like, no, it's completely understandable, of course. But the problem is that as a normal consumer of something, it's really difficult to avoid everything. For example, for me, I actually got spoiled something on Discord, and there I can't just block people. I can go out of my way to remove myself from servers, but if I'm on Discord and I have a friend group, and I want to stay in that friend group, and all of a sudden someone posts something, I can't avoid that because I'm in that group and I'm talking to people, and someone all of a sudden, it's not a problem, like, it's not my problem that happened, and that's an accident, and there's nothing you can do to avoid that, really, outside of really going to blackout and not going to the internet at all. Now, of course, you should do everything that you can, and this is not a problem with content creators at all. I don't think anyone is saying that. In Kaijin's video, he even states that maybe content creators could do a little bit better job at avoiding posting about things a day later or maybe 2 days later, and he's being nice here, like really nice, because I personally feel like if a game just releases, you should avoid talking about it at least for a week, because people are experiencing those things for the first time, and of course you don't want to give people, those surprises outside of the game. And it's very, very difficult for content creators, because content creators, of course, they want the views. They need to live. Some content creators actually live on YouTube, and they need to generate views in order to get the cash. And it's important. I understand that aspect of it as well. And some content creators, of course, they just don't really care at all. To some extent, it's like whatever. And people are different, and that's completely okay. Now, what I personally think is the problem is the gaming industry itself and social media sites themselves. It's not the problem of the content creator at all. I want to emphasize that. So here's an aspect I want to kind of post, or here's a post that I did maybe 2019, and I said that I get that if you are a reviewer or a content creator, that a lot of the times you get to review a game before everyone else. But I always get back to this spoiler thing. I always need to tread the web lightly, close to a game's release, and it's not fun as a normal person. Yeah, as a consumer, it's not really fun to needing to always, when a game comes out, like nowadays, new games come out almost every week, every month, and you need to kind of, I'll just filter everything on Twitter again, and there's a list of words that you've filtered out. I've been doing that a lot, and not always does it help. The issue with Twitter, for example, is that even if you even if you filter out words on Twitter, if you follow content creators, you still see those posts from the content creators. The best thing you can do is block or unfollow those content creators first, and then you need to filter out words. And on top of that, if you have a friend who follows those content creators and he retweets those tweets, you will see those as well. If, for example, you haven't removed the show retweets from that person as well. So you need to go to your friends as well and remove their retweets. So it's really, really difficult for you to avoid all spoilers. Especially if you do a bad job at, blocking one certain content creator. If, for example, I didn't block Gaijin Hunter for some reason, or some kind of unknown content creator, let's say like, if I wasn't blocked and someone retweeted my tweet about MHRise, that would show to everyone, simply because someone was a friend of my friend's, retweet. It's difficult. And it's not a problem for content creators. It's a problem of social media sites themselves, not allowing tools for content creators to utilize. Here's an example of this, not showing any names, of course. Yeah, at that point, I think folks who are adamant about being spoiled need to avoid Twitter. If there was a way to meta-tag spoilers without losing tweet length, I'd probably use it though. So there is an aspect of that, hey, if I had the tools, I would actually use them. But I don't. So the only thing that I can do is my best. And I think a lot of content creators are trying to do that. But of course, they want to generate hype, and hype is something that's really difficult when you're hyped about something, especially Monster Hunter related. People are really hyped about this game. So if something unique comes up, it's like, yeah, I want to post about that immediately. And it's especially relevant when consoles have a share button, easy share button. They can immediately on the spot share something on Twitter. And it's really frustrating as a normal consumer trying to avoid those things. Now, of course, not everyone would be using these tools if they were implemented on Twitter or on YouTube, like having a spoiler little checkbox that you could check, and it would actually just spoiler tag that tweet, and if you follow that person you would just see a blurred image or a blurred text line. That would actually fix a lot of the problems, but not everyone would of course use those, so you'd still kind of need to avoid things a little bit, but it would be a lot better. And here's another one of the posts that I've received. That's fair enough, man, but outside of unfollowing people who cover content you don't want spoiled, I don't know what else you could do outside of just not use social media. And that's the general idea for people. Very few times did I get responses about people actually saying that, hey, I understand you and I think that content creators could do a little bit better job, or that, you know, it's an actual problem. Now, as I said, this can grow out of its own proportions very easily, and I don't want that at all. But it is something to consider always. I think every content creator should always consider when they are posting videos or clips or whatever have you. As I said, I personally was playing with someone, or not playing, I was watching on Discord their stream, and I went to Twitter just to, you know, check what's there, and I get spoiled on this aspect of the 2.0 update. And I felt really bad about that, because then when my friend was like, when he realized this spoilery thing, I had to kind of act surprised as well, and that doesn't really feel right, does it? No, of course not. And yeah, but again, I don't want to say that this is a problem or a problem of content creators. Of course, there is that aspect of going to YouTube and, you know, seeing these monsters on thumbnails, or seeing the title say something about the monster, and it's really kind of sad that this is the norm now. But at the same time, I do think that websites like YouTube, Instagram and Twitter, they should allow tools for content creators to, you know, help them target the audience that they want to target. Not everyone is using Twitter to the full of their potential, of course. Some people are actually using #spoiler in front of their tweets, which is really good, because then you can skip things. And I do think that a lot of people should be more considerate about these issues. But at the same time, there's really nothing that we, the consumers, or those that are making videos, can impose on others at all. But yeah, I completely understand Kaijin's actual points, that he feels very alone on this, but he's not alone. He's definitely not alone, and this is an issue that's been around since like Dark Souls 2. And it's not just related to video game updates, it's related to how game developers develop their games in order to create hype, or just release things that are, you know, in the game and don't really consider what people think as spoiler. You know, Capcom released basically Monster Hunter Rise, and there was very little for you to experience outside of what they showed, you know. And what was there was, you know, it was what it was. But it's sad that developers do this, where it's like, yeah, this monster is in the game, this monster is in the game, now this one, and this is the boss you're fighting now. Let's say Dark Souls, for example. You see all the bosses of the game way before you actually play the game. And this is the norm now, and there's really nothing us normal people can do about it, other than just avoid media completely, go to media blackout, and I'm sure there's someone out there doing that, and hopefully they can survive this until PC release, but I couldn't. Anyhow, thanks for watching, everyone. I know this is a loaded topic in general, and I don't want this to grow out of its proportions at all. I just think that it's an important topic to talk about, and I do think that social media sites could do better. Thanks anyhow, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.